Hello out there. Now, it is not every time that I have a husband and wife appear on this forum. My name is Uche Onyebadi, and regular visitors to this forum know that my whole idea is to invite guests who must have traveled, from their culture of origin to another place, and then record their experiences, no matter the type of experience, going into another area. But most importantly, or more importantly, what did they learn from that experience? Okay, today I have a couple I've known, let me say forever and ever. Miss Bob and Betty, how are you doing, both of you?
Fine.
Doing fine, and it's good to see you again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
good
you-
to see you. All right. I will allow them to introduce themselves and then briefly introduce yourselves, and then we'll just learn it from your experience. And I know you've been all over the world. So who
Betty,
wants
why
to?
don't you go first?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bob.
No, go ahead, Betty.
Okay. I'm Betty Press, living now in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I'm a photographer, but we traveled all over the world, starting from a long time back, doing a lot of travels in Africa and living in Africa. So we'll probably be talking about those experiences.
Okay, that's fine. And just to let people know, Betty gave me some pictures she took over 30 years ago, and I still have them. Okay, Bob, how are you?
I'm fine, Uche. And it's good we can renew our friendship and contact. And this is exciting. I've seen your program, and it's very good. My name is Bob Press, and I'm Betty's husband. And like her, we've traveled around the world. Much of it's hitchhiking for about 2 years, but other travels. And I was teaching at the University of Southern Mississippi in political science until recently, and I retired. Now I'm writing a book and having some fun. So I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, do professors actually retire, or they just step aside?
Uh, Officially, yes, they can do that. And then once they do it, most of us do other things. But I plan to keep singing, running, writing, doing service locally, and so not really doing nothing. I'm quite busy actually.
All right. Okay. Now everybody knows that according to your introductions, you've traveled all over the world. Okay, let's start sharing the experience. Who wants to go first?
This time it's Bob's turn.
Okay, that's
Oh,
fine.
okay. All right. Well, a couple of things came to mind when you asked us to be on the program. One of them is just a very simple thing that in Lamu, which is an island off of Kenya, it's mostly Muslim. And somehow I got to know the Imam, the head Imam. He was a very nice guy. I was asking him questions about Islam because I'm a Christian, not an Muslim. And he was very generous with his time, and we got to knowing each other over the years. And each time we come back, I'd go visit. But the last time, which was last summer, um, we had a good time. And then he said, "Would you like to go for a walk?" I said, "Well, sure." He said, 5 o'clock. I said, "Okay, no problem. It's before it gets hot." So we went walking, and in the middle of this walk through all these small villages, he said, "We're going to go for a swim at the end. We have a swimming club." I was a little surprised because I wasn't really dressed for swimming, and I didn't know we were going to swim, and I never knew about a head imam swimming, and he brought up all sorts of funny images. And sure enough, we went down this little alley, and then boop, we're right on the ocean, and it's the calm area. And he said, "Okay." So he lifts up his Muslim skirts, so to speak,
Yeah.
and I just had to take everything off but my underpants and went in, and we walked out to the ocean further. And then he says, "We have a swimming club here." and you're now a member, and we take attendance. I said, well, I might be absent for a while, but so we got out there and just sort of talked, and the small waves were coming, and everybody's having a good time. It was quite a surprise. And later he gave me a nice robe, a very fancy robe, and I put it on and tried that out.
Right. So you started walking and then you ended up swimming. Did you do a bicycle ride after that?
I haven't seen him on a bicycle. It's actually a very small island, and there's no cars. There's maybe one or two small taxis for people who need it. But there's motorbikes, and the motorbikes are now restricted to the areas where people are not heavy traffic walking, because they used to bother people. But it's a very interesting island, and it's been a Muslim island there for centuries. And
Yeah, was the mom trying to teach you something? Because people just go for a walk and then go back home. But this one, you go for a walk and then you start swimming, and then was he trying to teach
yes,
you?
most people, I think they go home. I think the only thing that he likes to do is just walk. Besides his religious duties, and he likes to walk, and he likes to swim. And we actually didn't really swim. We just sort of waded around and joked around, and we're all out there, and the water's only up to about our chest. I just thought it was kind of funny. It's changes my image of a head imam in a Muslim country, a Muslim area. And he's a very friendly guy.
Okay. All right. Betty, you want to add your own experience? And before we get back to Bob, I think he has something more to say.
Well, I'm gonna go back in time because a lot of my experiences in Africa were when I was a photographer. It was always very interesting because when I was photographing in the 90s, people, this is in Nigeria, they really didn't like, they didn't trust anybody with a camera, put it that way.
Yeah.
And so I'd be going in public areas, and I was going there as a photojournalist, and I had a press card. So I was trying to get it was election time, so I was trying to get just some general pictures of just some campaign posters, which I thought would be fairly easy to do, and nobody would get upset with my taking that kind of thing on the public street. So I took this picture, and I left Bob at a meeting not too far away, and was just walking around while he was doing an interview, and took this picture of the poster, campaign poster. And somebody got upset with that.
Oh.
So he started talking to me and asked me why. And I say, oh, I was a photojournalist taking this picture. And then the crowd got bigger and bigger. Everybody on the street joined in the conversation, and I was in the middle of it. But then the conversation everybody was talking except me. They were talking to each other, whether I had the right to take that picture or I didn't have the right to take that picture, or why I took that picture. And slowly I kind of was on the edge, it wasn't even about me anymore. So I thought, well, I think I'll just leave this. And so I walked away, and they didn't even notice I walked away, except I walked up the hill to where Bob was interviewing somebody. And I said to Bob, is anybody behind me? Because I wasn't quite sure if they were going to follow me. But they didn't follow me, and I don't know how long they stayed there and talked about it. But, people like to discuss things and make sure everything's okay and so on.
I mean, you were just taking pictures of posters.
Yeah.
Oh, that is.
Well, I mean, I was still on the street, so they couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
It's not a digital camera at that time.
Okay, all right.
It's film, so I couldn't show them the picture.
Right.
So they had to trust me that I was just taking a picture of the campaign.
Yeah.
And they had, they were basically talking about whether that was a good thing or not.
And then you just walked away, and they were still talking.
Yeah. I thought they would, I was not important in the conversation anymore at that point. Fortunately for me, I was glad to be able to walk away, because I've had other instances where it became a little more of an issue. So that was one of the better ones.
Yeah, I remember she came.
I think photography has changed now, because in Kenya, everybody has a cell phone that takes pictures, and you can see the picture. So I think people are a little more relaxed about pictures and who takes them and why they take them and so on. But at that time, it was really interesting how it was a big discussion. It was more typical of Nigeria, because that wouldn't have happened in Kenya, I don't think. They met with me, but they would probably tell me not to do it or something, whatever. A whole group wouldn't I don't know. It didn't happen other places.
The part I find fascinating is that, all right, you generated whatever gave them the topic to talk about, and then you just walked away, and we're still talking.
It seemed the most sensible thing to do at the time.
At that time, okay. I see Bob is grinning. Do you have something else to add? I mean, not to that story, but your own experience.
When she came up to me, she was not looking backward at all. I was talking to somebody else, and she says, "Is anybody following me?" I turned around, I said, "No." And she said, "Oh, good." She's had other experiences in Nigeria with photographs, and this is just one example.
Okay. Oh yeah, you must have another example story to tell, to share with people, Bob.
Well, when I was thinking about this, I thought of a couple things that are just very basic, but it shows you that my cultural learning is always ongoing. I'm always I'm learning something else. And one of the things, two things. One thing was, and we just arrived in Morocco, and we were invited to a Moroccan family for dinner. And I looked at the first dish and I thought, oh my goodness, that is so good. And I ate the whole thing. And then and they said, would you like some more? I said, yeah, sure. Thank you very much. And I got totally full and I was satisfied. And then they brought the main dish. Oh, I was in a predicament. You have to eat the main dish, and I was already full. I thought that was it. No. There was the main dish, and then there was something else after that, and the dessert after that. It was
terrible course. It's a meal.
Never overeat for the first dish in a Moroccan family.
The food is so good. Wow.
Oh my goodness, that's true. But I was also thinking of something that I learned in Kenya. The Kenyans, I mean, I just love everybody when we go to all these countries because there's always so much to learn. But in Kenya, when you say goodbye, well, let me start with how Americans say goodbye. They say, "Oh, we're glad you came by," and then they open the front door, and the people leave. They close the door. They might even turn off the light before you get off the porch. But certainly, as the car pulls away, there isn't anybody saying goodbye. Yeah. They're all in watching TV already. But it's not true in Kenya. In Kenya, especially in the villages, when you say goodbye, it's not really immediate goodbye. It's, okay, kusindikiza. And I said, what does that mean? It means you walk them halfway down the path, down towards their house, kusindikiza. So they would say goodbye, but they would walk you down in the direction you're going. And the joke was always, well, okay, if you walk me there, then I'm going to go home. Then don't walk me home now because we'll be doing this all night, Anyway, in American, I always have that habit, that African Kenyan habit now. When I say goodbye to someone, I walk out to the car with them and to say goodbye to them, thank them for coming, and then I stand and wave goodbye. I think I'm the only one that I know that does that.
All right. At least that's a learning experience for you. A friend of mine, was teaching somewhere in Uganda. from America, white, of course. So he had already said goodbyes, on a Friday. And then he went was leaving for the airport the following morning. And then he saw people around. Hey, what's going on? Oh, we have come to see you off to the airport.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, he didn't understand.
I
I
love
said,
it.
I thought we said goodbye last night. They said, no,
Yeah.
that was last night. We have come to make sure you go to the air. And they followed him all the way.
Wonderful. Oh, that's great. That's nice.
Okay,
I
Betty,
remember the first time we got to Morocco, it was during
yeah,
Hajj. The Muslims were coming back from their
Mecca,
pilgrimage in Saudi
right.
Arabia. And so we got off the plane and came out into the parking lot, and there were literally hundreds and hundreds of people in robes. I thought, wow, what a nice greeting. It wasn't for us at all. We just move our way through and then found a taxi. Anyway, greetings are fun.
Okay, Betty, you have something else to add? I mean, I
Yeah.
love these experiences,
Yeah, I'll just talk about one more.
Yeah.
It's the act of generosity that was really incredible. I mean, many times we've been very generously treated, on our travels, but this
Okay.
one was more extraordinary. And it was a long time ago, and it was the time when Mom and I actually hitchhiked across Africa back in a long time ago. Anyway, when we were younger, and we were making our way. We made our way through. Well, we started in Nairobi, made it all the way to West Africa, went across Mali, Niger, and then across the Sahara. But as we got a ride with, I think, an NGO in Niger, and so we had a good ride, which was unusual, a comfortable ride. But we stopped at a village. It was probably Tuareg related, maybe.
Yeah.
And a woman and a family living in a kind of a wooden structure house. And for some reason we stopped. Oh, I think it was the NGO was doing some work with people there too. But we stopped and talked to them. And for some reason I was I don't know, I got very connected to one of the children, and she came and sat on my lap, and it was just a really nice, we couldn't even speak the same language, but we were just communicating. And then we got back in the vehicle, and the woman runs out with this chicken for
okay.
me. And it was for me, not for anybody else in the drive. It was for me. She made sure it was for me.
Oh.
And that chicken probably was their meal. I mean, they were not they're a very poor family, I tried not to take it, of course, but she insisted. And at that point, I realized I had to take it, because for her, that was very important, that I had this relationship with her child that was somehow touched her and me. And so we took this chicken, and I think in the next village, we had it cooked and we ate it and we enjoyed it.
Okay.
That was
I was going to ask.
a true act of generosity. It was not the only one, but that was a true act of, I don't know why. But
we call it the traditional African hospitality.
But it was even more than that for some.
It was more than that, yeah.
It was something I always remember, because it was just so extraordinary on her part. We could reach each other somehow across all these barriers, and no language, nothing else, just on a personal, emotional way. There was a connection.
Yeah, between two human beings.
Yeah, right.
Okay, who wants to round it all up? Bob, anything? Did you get a goat, since Betty was given a chicken?
No. Oh my goodness.
All right, okay. one thing about this forum is that, you know, people who watch it get to know how other people, you know, look at Betty's story. It's so touching. You know, the woman didn't know her, nothing, just but they felt that connection. Then you go to Lamu, you felt a connection with an imam, you know, and then you go to Morocco, they fed you, you thought it was, you didn't even know that the main dish was coming. You know, you were already full, and then the main dish came. All right. Okay,
Yes, that's so
yeah,
true.
yeah, I really
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Betty, I have just one question for you. Do you still
Okay.
take black and white photographs?
No, well, I just did because we moved to Mississippi and I didn't know much about Mississippi, and Mississippi has a very
Yeah.
complicated history. I
I'll call you right back.
did the whole series in black and white, and it was on film, even though I could have done it digitally. But I finished that in 2016. So I haven't been doing much black and white since that time, but
Is that time? Okay. All right. I want to thank both of you for taking the time. Like I said, this is the second couple, you know, I'm talking to in this forum. Usually it's just one person, but it's always nice when you have a husband and wife. You know, I've been together for so long. I remember the first time I met Bob was in Addis Ababa. You know, long, long, long time, long before computers
Yes,
were even developed.
that's true. That's true.
Okay, I want to thank you one more time for taking the time to appear on this. And I must commend both of you. You are so beautifully dressed. I wish I could just take photos and send it back to Betty. Thank you and have
African
the.
I got
clothing.
this is from Kenya. It's really
Ah,
nice.
okay.
This is from Nigeria.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Thank you very much for your program,
Yeah.
All
and
right.
good to see you
Thank
again.
you. All right. Kwaheri, as they say over.
Kwaheri,
Tutongana,
asante
kwaheri.
sana.
All right. Okay, bye.
Tutonana, tutonana.